Welcome to My Creative Brain. Today I am talking to Tumi Williams. Tumi is an MC, singer and songwriter from Cardiff. His musical heritage is shaped by both the golden era of hip-hop and his family's Nigerian roots. He performs as Skunkadelic and also in the 9-piece band Afro Cluster, who've appeared at festivals like Glastonbury and toured with the likes of Giles Peterson. We're going to have a chat about creativity and well-being, and there's going to be an activity for you to try at the end. Hello Tumi, welcome to the creative living room brain space. How are you doing?
Diane, thanks for having us. Yeah, well, I'm glad to be here.
Before we do anything else, we have to say congratulations on your little baby girl.
Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, so on that note, excuse the sort of slow responses because of the lack of sleep. But yeah, thank you very much, Maddie. Nice to be here.
All right, so we're going to talk a little bit first about when you were a little baby. Well, maybe not a baby, but when do you remember, like an early time, the first time maybe you remember being like creative, singing, rapping, writing anything?
Oh, but I guess that's an easy pick for me. I started out in a church choir, and started out with playing percussion actually, awfully well. I'd say awfully well at the time, but no, to be honest, it was church choir where I started playing percussion. It was like a children's choir, and then I moved on to baritone singing as well. And I remember those. I mean, one of the earliest memories, of the ones that really stick to mind, is sort of a Christmas play where singing and acting is all incorporated. Like those are my really furthest memories I've got of performing on stage.
Were you the little kid with the really fruity low voice?
Yeah, I was one of the three wise men. Yeah.
So how old are we talking?
We're talking 9, 10, maybe.
Nice. Yeah. And so from that point to when presumably you're a bit older, when did you actually start thinking of yourself as like an artist in your own right?
The first performances I did as writing, performing my own material was with a band in Stroud, Gloucestershire, and it was with sort of like a 6-piece mix between Red Hot Chili Peppers and Fat Freddy's Drop, and it was just like
Sounds amazing.
I was doing a lot of singing at the time, and sort of it was a singing, rapping kind of style verses. So I think I will say at that point, because I joined the band because I was already MCing in house parties, and they asked me to join, so I can say maybe from that point I was an artist. But there wasn't any there wasn't any sort of social media and whatnot, so I guess apart from that, further on, I think when you've finally got a social media page, I guess you can say, yep, I am an artist now. Officially have a page where you can contact me about. That will probably move further on to when I started university, so about 2005, 6.
Yeah. So the band that was like Chili's and Fat Freddy's mixed together. How old were you?
We were all 17, 18.
Nice.
Yeah.
I bet you were having the time of your life.
I think we played all of 3.5 gigs. I think the half one is because half the band didn't turn up. Due to
can't rely on 17-year-olds, can you?
Exactly. At a house party as well. But 17, 18.
Good times. So with singing, I guess it began as singing and then became MCing over time.
Yeah, I've always hip hop has always been because my brothers listen to hip hop. I fell in love with Snoop Dogg, in my early teens. We're talking like mid 90s, and I kind of wanted to. I was every kid around that time was imitate. I think I was into kind of anything sort of hip hop, drum and bass style. You always find yourself in the mirror going and giving it a go. And there was a lot of battle rhymes where you just chuck in a 2-liner in class, against someone who another friend, and everyone goes, "Ooh, what are you gonna come back with?" So you got like a couple of hours to come back with another 2-liner.
The classroom battle.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, so music for me, for a lot of people, I know for you as well, is like often a way of overcoming obstacles in your life. What have you got to say about that?
Oh God, I think it's safe to say music saved Save me.
It
saved my life. No, and
I
also,
like we both had to do it in a stupid voice because it was just so genuine, and we were like, oh.
Absolutely, because it did, in ways that I can't, that I'm so thankful for, because I'm still doing it now, and I never thought I'll carry on. I thought I was going to be a painter, a graffiti artist, an artist rather than a musician. I stuttered. I still do, but it's controlled. I kind of know when I'm about to and hold back. So I had speech therapy from the ages of like 13 to maybe about 16. And for me, a lot of the stuttering sort of came about as well because there was a lot of bullying going on at the time. And I used to keep a diary, but it was diary of lyrics, and those lyrics were at my bullies basically, as to how I was dealing with them, like as in I'm not going to rise to this. My words would be more powerful than me throwing a punch. Those kind of things. Just trying to hold back my, keep my temper in check. And that developed sort of writing those things down and reciting them. And when you've got like a page of 4 lines, another page of 4 lines tomorrow, and that kind of thing. And eventually, I started reciting those things as part of getting over the stutter. Yeah. And that, alongside with the speech therapy lessons, the things I got taught and how to cope with it, it really helped, because the confidence from then reciting those raps when I was then in school and I recited those raps to my peers, everyone's like, way, what the hell? That's dope, man, and all that. So it helped build my confidence and as a person, as a character. And the things I wrote about made people laugh. So, because that's what it was all about at the time.
Mm-hmm. Teenage boy.
Yeah. Yeah. The content, we're not going to go near there at all. Yeah.
That's locked away.
That's locked away. That's buried. But
it seems like it's the combination of the writing down of the words is kind of like the therapeutic outlet. And Absolutely. Then the actual performing of it is kind of like the physical thing to help you get over the stutter Absolutely. As well.
I remember when my brother sort of came across my rhyme book, and all I could hear was he just took the piss out of me for weeks and weeks on end just because of the stuff I sort of wrote down. And he was like, well, if you're going to do it, then you want to be a rapper, yeah? Do you want to be an MC? Then bloody do it then, innit? Yeah. And I kind of was like, well, yeah, I'm going to give it a go. There's nothing, I don't have to, it doesn't have to be something that I am successful at. I just give it a go, and it helped me sort of deal with whatever I was going through. But yeah, it was very therapeutic, and it helped me get my head down and put to bed any those difficulties I was facing on a daily basis as well.
So how does music and performing and writing relate to your own well-being for you?
For me, I'm confident that they are all creative outlets for me. And I recognize earlier on in my career that I kind of needed it. More than it became more than a want to just write. It became more than a thing of I have to find a way of constantly dissolving all the complications of everyday happenings, basically, and putting them into some kind of visual, whether that be in words or an art, an actual art, fine art piece. So
do you still do that? You said you
I actually studied fine art in uni. I kind of because graffiti was one of my main interests. I still do, but a lot of the time when I do pick up a pen to draw, I end up writing. It ends up becoming drawing a piece of a word, a sketch of a word, and then that becomes like the top of the page, and the rest of it is just lyrics.
So it's like a really cool title.
That's it. That's exactly it. The top of the page, the title of the song is flamboyant, or if you want to put it in that way, word. But and the rest of it is just scribbles and crosses and yeah. Creativity has always been a sort of something I need to do, and I guess I'm relating it back to the current situation we're all in. I found various ways of trying to keep me sane, really, because I kind of survive on doing quite a lot of things. It's been a trait I've had since when I was a youngster, actually. Parents were saying, you're doing too much, and I think for me it's kind of what keeps me sane. So if I've got less on my plate, then I become idle, which everyone knows that's not great.
That's not good. Well, you've led me on very nicely to what I wanted to talk to you about next, which was pandemic. Pandemic. So what has your like creative life been like in the pandemic?
It's been a
fly.
It's been a struggle at points. I think at the start of the pandemic, it was acceptance that my job, my passion, and it felt like it had to be put on hold because I was playing a lot of live shows. There's a lot of moving around, a lot of interacting with public. But then after accepting that, actually, I can't do that. Then I then realized that just because I can't go out and write and perform what I've written doesn't mean I can't keep on writing and creating music. So it took a few months to recognize that, and after that I carried on writing. But then there'll be dips. There'll be so many, like, in a month you'd have 2 weeks where you're like, meh, I don't even know what's happening. The world's all a bit, and there's I was struggling to get inspired, I guess, and I didn't want to write about COVID because it wasn't over.
I was going to say, do you find that it's hard because if you're writing about your experiences, if your experience is like just being in your house?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
What shall I write about today?
Yeah, and I like to write about things. Generally, I do write about things after I've experienced them. So I think we're still in the middle of it. There's still lots to be done and lots to be learned about it. So for me, writing about it now has been, I have actually written a couple of tunes at the end of last year, which I've written and recorded, which have been partly about the rise of the BLM movement, the Black Lives Matter movement, and COVID, and those two songs highlight those two. I mean, last year was mainly about the recognition that we have got a pandemic and we need to care more about each other, and the fact that Black Lives Matter. So this is, again, you're just leading beautifully into my questions to me. Thank you. Right.
But yeah, with all this, like the way that it's affected, because obviously we can't gig, the way that it's affected your writing, these other things that are happening at the same time, like Black Lives Matter.
Yeah.
Do you feel like it's been a weird space mentally over the last year or so for you?
When it was all happening in mid-year, yes, because I was around that time I found out I was having a little one, and there was something that about knowing that me and Rosie were bringing a child into the world, and that happening, that made me go, I do. In fact, what I've done to try and eradicate racism, it's been enough. But it took me to be becoming a parent, to actually, to become an actual father, to say, look, I need to maybe do even more.
I can imagine you just being like, I'm going to be a dad. Right, flip the table.
Right, yeah, now
nobody's going to hurt my little girl.
Yeah, this has to, we have to even speak out even more. And then with writing, it's something I've been writing about. That's, in fact, most of the things I write about is it's not just social commentary, but and highlighting the discrepancies in our in the way people treat each other, and try and make it something that you can dance to and learn from, not necessarily just moaning.
It's like a really good message, but you've got to dance as well.
Something you can dance to at the same time, because kind of, I feel, that formula I think really works for me, because if I'm dancing to something, I listen more.
It's connecting with your brain and your body.
That's it. It is.
Yeah, I just thought about that. I was just going
mind, body, and soul.
It's your mind and your body. Amazing.
It's got a groove to it. So, if you like a song, you listen to it over and over again. Yeah. And
then the message has more of a chance to
actually sink
absorb.
in. Yeah. Yeah. So, writing through.
You're a genius, Toom.
Thank you, Maddie. I don't think anyone has ever said that to me.
I've been waiting for this.
I need to. Can I have a moment, please? 1 second. Thanks,
we'll be back when Toomy's dried his tears.
I'm blushing. I know you can't see it. But you can't quite see it properly, but anyway.
Oh, I love it. So that's obviously...
It's taken a toll. I've always written about about these things. So for me, it's had a positive in the sense that at the end, coming to the end of 2020, there was a huge, I can't even tell you, a huge rise in the amount of music I saw come out from young artists and upcoming artists and my peers towards the end of last year. Because obviously everyone had a year of...
sitting in the house.
Yeah, sitting in the house. And what do musicians and creatives do best? Create, especially when you got more time in your hands. So that inspired me. And that's how I've been able to deal with it. So other people inspire me as well. That's another way. Seeing that, I forgot my struggles, but we're all in the same boat, and people are still making music. So it just reminds me that, oh, of course, geez, I'm a musician, aren't I? And you forget about that every now and again through the pandemic, I think.
In terms of your own confidence as a writer and a performer, are there like particular things that affect it in either way? Like certain things that always boost your confidence, certain things that always kind of like batter it a little bit?
I'll say this is probably the same with quite a lot of musicians that, feedback, for me personally, good or bad feedback. For a lot of people, just good feedback. But for me, good or bad feedback, it sort of helps me build my confidence because the bad feedback helps me, it reminds me that I'm doing something right, personally. Because you can't please everyone. So it's like, okay, that's hitting the nail, and some people don't like it, which is, I recognize that. And positive feedback again is it's a kind of like kudos. That's a nice piece of work you've just put out there, and it does build your confidence. I find that if I've got a project about to be released, there's something that happens to me, and I don't write as much towards this release because I'm starting to I'm waiting to get, it's not a conscious thing, but I've noticed it repeatedly over the years, releasing EPs and singles, that after that's been released and you get a sort of a boost of confidence again. Things that knock back my confidence are, I guess, before this was not, in certain circles, not feeling welcome. I'll put it that way. But I'm kind of the person who just cracks on with what I got to do and do it for reasons sort of that are not because I want to, not for selfish reasons, basically, to develop the community, to
sometimes
improve.
You've got to try harder.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Maddie.
I was just thinking of a time that I walked into a guitar shop one time, many times, and they're like, "Oh, you're buying a present for your boyfriend?" I'm like,
"Oh, grand.
Wonderful. Thanks for just."
Can you give me that guitar and I'll show you that I can actually play myself, and thanks for that, dear. Yeah.
Thank you.
People, what a way to sell guitars.
I know.
Customer service.
Good job,
Top
guys.
notch, yeah.
So a lot of musicians have been finding pandemic times very hard because we can't do what we normally do. But you are one of the people who's kind of taken the pandemic and just been like, right, lemonade, here we go. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
I guess the song "Every Day I'm Hustling" comes to mind. No, it's just on a more serious note. It was a case of, it felt like it was a life and death situation, to be honest with you, because your finances just went. That's probably the best way I can put it, because there was nothing coming in, like a domino effect, gigs just falling out, all the way to the end of the year, and baby on the way. I don't think me or my partner Rosie ever thought that we were bringing a child to the world when we both don't have jobs, both can't do what, are not in the best place. So that kind of led to me thinking, and again, this was an idea that was budding, because I was looking to sort of, I'm interested in food. I love making food. I love cooking for people generally. So one of the things that sparked the idea quickly is a mate of mine who actually was like suggested that I made some food for him. This is halfway through the pandemic, and dropped around because he hadn't eaten much else, because he'd eaten my food a few times, and I was like, yeah, no problem, I'll drop food round. And after I did this, he texted me a few days later and said, is there any chance of you doing it next Friday again? And I was like, hey, I don't mind, of course. And he goes, I'll chuck you some money. I'm like, don't be silly. And there we go. That stemmed the idea of what Maddie just mentioned, of this jollof house party. Jollof is a Nigerian dish, a Nigerian sort of staple national dish that, and I kind of enjoy cooking it. It's one of my favorite dishes, and flipped it a little bit and kind of made it vegan. And because again, creative. I wanted to be creative and not just go with the mundane. I learned over the years of being a musician that originality is key. So just being yourself, and the same thing I applied to the food, and I made it vegan. And yeah, it picked up from there because I started delivering from 2 people every weekend to some weekends it was 13 one night, 16 the other night from home. I'm from there, kind of like picked up, and I've been doing it since.
And it is delicious. Yeah. I love plantain.
You're one of the first guys to
I love plantain so much.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, you remember you guys doing a review.
Just like, can Tumi just bring me around plantain?
Yeah, that's it.
Anytime.
Yeah.
I mean, we live pretty close, so...
Yeah, we do.
You watch out. So, on to your sort of inspiration when you're writing. We've talked about it a little bit already, but what sort of on a day-to-day basis, what kind of things make you think, oh, I want to write about that right now?
I think there'll probably be some cliche things that I would say, but...
Drop some cliches, come on.
Just the love for people, nice. For a start, just, people can be wonderful and people can be horrible, I'll put it that way. I think, and that could be the same person as well, in the same day. But everyone's going through something, good or bad. So the love for life and people inspires me to write, because people go through, from financial worries to loss of friends and family, which has happened a lot lately, and relationship issues and mental. There's lots of things that it just goes on and on. So there's always an endless source of inspiration. But when it comes to music, I try to, depending on the subject, when it comes to sticking to a subject, I try to encompass sort of every aspect of what I understand about that subject, and trying to I get inspired by going, oh, I know a lot about that and I really want to write about it. Okay, on this song that I've picked, I've got 2 verses. I probably want to put a bit of that opinion about that side of things in the first quarter of the first verse, and the rest of it
arguing with yourself?
Pretty much arguing with myself, and then give my perspective about it at the end on the last couple of bars, just so we end on a good note. And
I really want to see like a video where there's like 2 Tumis battling each other.
Yeah, and that thing of, and obviously you're battling yourself with the rhymes and whatnot. So I get inspired by all these things, and I just put them to a lot of social commentary, a lot of from pop. I'm not a politician, but I do like to talk about the state of affairs in our immediate environment, where that might be Wales, UK, my roots, Nigeria, Africa, the world. It doesn't matter, there's all stuff happening everywhere, and I think everyone could always do with a bit of music. So if I can chuck in a bit of a thought or sort of spark a bit of thinking, and hopefully change, then win.
Ching. So what, if there's, I'm sure you've come across people like this, and what would you say to someone who kind of claims that they can't sing, or they can't rap, or they can't write? What would you say to them? We're both getting a little fly in our face here.
Yeah, the fly.
The fly's like, I can't sing.
I kind of believe this in a way. I know it's art. You can argue this, but I believe everyone can sing. It just depends on who's listening.
No. I believe everyone can sing as well.
Yeah, it just depends on, if... Yeah, fair enough. You could argue that, if I was singing to my grandmother and I was about 10 years old and I sounded like the exhaust pipe of a Cardiff bus, then...
that was an image. Little kid like
completely out of tune. Then and my grandma goes, "Oh, that was lovely."
Yeah.
Because she enjoyed the effort, the performance, everything that went with it. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're holding the notes as to how it's written, how the human brain is fine-tuned to, but history in the past. I don't think everyone that sat in a congregation of people, of a group or in a community who are all singing and playing organic instruments, banging on drums and stones and whatnot. I don't think everyone in that group could sing, but the combination of everyone together and the feeling of doing that activity of singing means you can sing, from what I understand.
It's like far more of a communication thing. It's not like, oh, there's going to be some judges sat over there who are going to go,
it's
if
not,
you're out of tune.
I'm not, no one's turning around to say, I'm going to show you how to do it.
It's just an extended form of talking to people, isn't it? Like,
it is.
Is there anything better? I've done this with you back in the day.
Yeah.
Remember when we did backing vocals on Junior Bill?
Yes,
shout out Junior
that's
Bill.
it,
and we
Wolves
had
track,
the best time, just loads of us round a mic,
that's it.
just doing backing vocals together.
Yeah,
that was so good.
It was. And hearing everyone's vocals through the headphones, where it was, it was magical.
It was amazing. So if you're just in your day-to-day sort of creative life, if you're feeling a little bit kind of blocked, have you got any sort of things that you do to break yourself out of that?
In a creative sort of, so if I was in the middle of writing, so there's so many things depending on what, on the scenario, because sometimes I write in the park if it's in the middle of summer, and all I have to do sometimes is, if I'm writing in the park, for instance, I will just stop, close my rhyme book and just people watch for 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And I swear down, something always, something reminds you of, you're like, oh, you know what? Oh, I was just going to get back to it. That doesn't happen every time, and it's fine. If I was at home, for instance, I tend to, if I'm writing about a subject that I'm in, whenever I'm writing about anything, I'm really interested in it, I tend to have certain tabs on my laptop or computer open, which could be, and I'm not going to lie to you, if I was writing about a table, I will put the definition of table.
I was going to say just loads of pictures of tables.
No. I'll put in table and just whatever comes up about table. I could get the history of what the person who actually made the first table.
Jokes about tables.
Yeah. The best wood for table. What country makes the most tables? Or you might get all this stuff that just and I'll just come across it in one sentence. Let's say, for instance, India makes the most three-legged tables in the world, for instance.
I believe you. You said that with conviction.
Exactly.
Okay.
If that was the truth, then in my lyrics at some point, you'd be surprised when that just kicks in and you're like, I'm so focused, like the amount of three-legged tables that come out of India. It could rhyme off something else, and if that was fact, for instance, then it will make just a great image. I think a
Is
visual.
It just sort of like building up like fodder for your mind to just play with?
Absolutely, and that would take me away from the writing aspect of things for 4 or 5 minutes. I find something or video or something you've been framed, people falling off tables, and you laugh for 4 or 5 minutes, and it just takes your mind off it. And then I just open the book.
You're
again
like, it's research, Rosie.
Yeah.
It's research.
Yeah, you're there like, I am researching, not just watching.
Honest.
I love watching animal videos of just like it's one of the first things I do in the morning, watching just whatever animal it is, penguins.
Oh yeah, I love an animal video.
A koala, yeah.
There's something about when animals do something funny that makes me laugh in a completely different way. Do you know what I mean?
Rosie's like,
anyone who's near you is like, are you okay? What's going on?
What's so funny? You're going,
it's like a dog. A dog doing
it's just
thing.
a dog. I know, it's nothing. Yeah,
it's fine.
I'm just having a moment. But yeah, absolutely.
I really want to watch some dog videos now. It's research.
That's it. So inspiration, again, can come from those kind of things, stopping and starting and finding more information about whatever it is I'm writing about. It could be just that word. And sometimes I would go, you know what? I'm going to stop and I'm going to listen to some other genres of music and just dance around the room for 5 minutes.
Yeah. Nice. So to wrap up our interview,
I've rattled on.
that I very enjoyed. Very enjoyed?
Enjoyed very.
Very much enjoyed. There we go. To wrap it up, if someone has been watching this, looking at you and being like, that's my guy, I want to be like Tumi. Ooh. I want to write lyrics, I want to MC, I want to sing. What advice do you have for them?
Well, the first thing I would say is don't be like me.
Don't do what I do.
Don't. Yeah, it's as flattering as it is, as it sounds. Do your own thing.
Mm-hmm. Don't write about tables. That's been taken.
Don't write about tables. Yeah, that's for a start. Unless it's for a table making company and you're writing an advert for them. Cha-ching.
Yeah.
But I know what you mean by wanting to be like some, because I have they are your favorite MC, your favorite singers. You're like, oh God, I just want to be like them. But then as you grow older, as I've grown older, anyway, I speak for myself, I then realize that actually I don't want to be like anyone else, because I want to just be. And what happens is all the inspiration and things you've picked up over the years, and the people you've met, and the people you've played with, and the people you've watched play, whether you like it or not, infiltrates that. Yeah. Pseudonym, that character that you want to be on stage with, because you have, taken something from them. So, yeah, I would say just take the good bits and learn from the bad bits. But in terms of, what you said about, anyone who's trying to learn how to sing, the main thing, the activity of actually rapping or singing, as Maddie said earlier, it's a form of communication, a great form of communication, proved time and time again. Studies with Alzheimer's and how music links back to the brain and nostalgia, memories. All those things are important parts of developing the brain. I would say go for it. Even up till now in my house, when I'm writing lyrics and I want to recite them, I think about my neighbors and I think, oh my God, they're just going to think, what the hell's going on there? What's that guy doing? So I, find ways around it. But I will just say, just go for it. If you're going to sing in the bathroom at the top of your voice and you're hitting the wrongest notes, who cares?
I think in general your neighbours like it.
Yeah, as long as you're feeling good about it. And it does make you feel good. Freestyling. I freestyle a lot. When I freestyle, I've spoken to a few MCs about this because I mentioned it. I thought it was just me, but I have little tingles at the back of my brain at the end of a sort of 3 minute sort of session or moment when I'm just like bouncing off mates. So for me, like it's great for the mind and great for the soul. So do it. If you want to sing and you want to rap and you want to give it a go, there's so many outlets out there and support mechanisms in around Wales, Cardiff, or give us a shout. I can give you some tips as to what I did, not necessarily give you advice as to what to do, but I'll tell you what I did, and if you think it applies to you, then do it. But go for it.
There's going to be the opportunity to ask Tumi some questions in a Zoom. There's going to be details of the Zoom in the description, and also on Facebook, look for the My Creative Brain group, which is going to be where people can submit things they're working on, get some peer feedback, all that sort of thing. So thanks very, very much, Tumi. We're going to do a little bit of an activity now.
Oh, that sounds...
A little bit of an activity. Should we get some notebooks?
Yeah. I've got my rhyme... Oh, God. Yeah, I always have this on me, my rhyme book with me. So, yeah, Let's get that out. And I love this, by the way. I just wanted to say...
This is cool.
Yeah. And the lighting and everything. But thanks for having us.
Beautiful. Thank you, Tumi.
Thank you very much,
Air
Maddie.
5. Socially distance 5. Okay, so activity time. Activity,
yeah.
What are we doing, Tumi?
Considering I'm an MC, and my main sort of instrument is my vocals, I'd say we do something that is lyric based, maybe. When it comes to writing music, I guess you have got not limitations, but you've got bars and rhythms and grooves to work around and work with. So I would say if you were thinking about writing lyrics and you were finding it difficult to get to the next stage, or you're stuck, then, or it's your first time ever doing it, then I'm sure you're pretty sure everyone's got their favorite song or their favorite lyric or verse, for instance, or just the chorus. Write down the lyrics. Everyone, you can find anyone's lyrics on Google nowadays, unless, they specifically didn't put it out there. Or listen yourself, actually, and you can actually write down what you think they said. And what I did when I was a lot younger, in terms of what I said earlier, when I'll be rapping in school amongst my peers, I generally took out, and I've applied it to sort of my everyday writing, is taking out the verbs and the nouns from that verse that you like. Mm-hmm. So, Maddie, if you've got a song, or anyone else out there sort of watching this, and you're thinking about writing, I know, Maddie, you're a prolific songwriter. I
really quite often get stuck when I'm trying to get started with lyrics, though.
Yeah. Because
you're just kind of blank page.
Yeah. Oh. Do you usually have a backing track, or you just go straight into the?
It depends, but I think what I want to do more of, which is why I'm excited, is starting lyrics and vocally, and then building a track around that, rather than always I'm probably more tempted to start with a track normally, and build a bit of a mood that way. But I think I want to start more with vocals, because that's where I feel like I sit most naturally.
So I'll say, Maddie, then if you pick a verse, what's your favorite? No, it's hard to ask them what their favorite song is, isn't it? It's with someone with so much knowledge about music like yourself. What song springs to mind that you tend to enjoy listening to that verse or the groove of that song?
I'm thinking, because of what you've said we're going to do, the chorus of Clint Eastwood.
All right, cool, sweet, amazing.
Gorillaz.
Make a track. If you've got a track that you want to pick a verse, get the lyrics. If you already know it, even better, write it out. Take out the verbs and nouns. Without sounding derogatory, the verbs are anything that's a doing word, and the nouns is the name of anything in those lyrics, just to help out anyone who might. Sorry, but yeah. So if it's a track. In fact, I'm thinking I might do.
I can't even. It's one of those ones
Regulator?
where you kind of sing it a certain way, but you're not sure what the actual words are.
Yeah, I find that with a lot of songs I've known for years, I kind of
recite this now like a piece of theatre. I ain't happy, feeling glad. I got sunshine in a bag. I'm useless, but not for long. The future is coming on.
So we got I ain't happy. I'm feeling sad. That's it, isn't it?
Feeling glad.
Feeling
actually.
glad.
I think I said sad, didn't I? I can't even
there
read.
we go. You've already done what, So you could say, I ain't angry. You can always change it, to, or she isn't, or they ain't angry. They're on the ball. You can completely change the, they ain't angry. They're just on the ball.
They ain't tardy. They're on the ball.
Yeah, here we go. And you kind of switched it up to talking about yourself, if you find it easier to talk about others, or he or she, or whatever.
So basically, it's not even nouns and verbs, just any of the words, basically.
Well, yeah, you can do that as well. So yeah, nouns and verbs, because I changed the meaning of that sentence by saying I'm on the ball. Am I happy? I'm feeling. So, but let's stick to what you got there. I ain't happy. I'm feeling glad. So if you take out I, which is, I guess I is not it's not the noun, but if you had to say Tom isn't happy, or Tumi isn't happy, but I'll change the word happy, which is. It is a verb, isn't it? That's an adjective.
Is it an
adverb? Oh, God. You see,
I think happily would be an adverb.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that's it.
Happy is an adjective? Is it? Oh, my God, I can't remember. I can't remember how English works.
But yeah, you can...
It's a word.
The doing bit of that sentence, which is I ain't happy, I'm feeling glad, you can change that to I, or you can make it positive and switch around completely. I am happy.
Yeah.
But I'm not feeling glad. You've changed what it means in a sense. You're a happy person, but you're not glad about something. Again, it's lyrics. It can be whatever you want it to be. So if you change happy and you change glad, what would you fill that with, for instance?
I mean, you said angry earlier, and I like that. I like anger.
Yeah.
So am I going to keep I ain't the same for now?
Yeah,
so I ain't angry. not feeling mad. Can I add a little not in there?
There we go. And it's another thing about, if it always helps if you syllables as another part of writing lyrics. So what Maddie's done there is he's actually just replaced I'm feeling glad with not with not there, which is still the one syllable, so, and that fits in perfectly and still makes absolute sense.
I ain't angry, I'm feeling mad.
Mad. I got what's the next bit? I got sunshine
in a bag.
So many things can be in a bag.
So many things.
And so many things could be in something else. So use your imagination again.
I got your heart in my hand.
There we go.
Ooh.
There we go. More morbid. And I guess on the other hand, having sunshine in a bag, that again, it's the metaphor of having some kind of bright.
Because I was looking at, like, before we had I ain't happy feeling glad, I got sunshine in a bag, and they like sort of rhyme but not exactly.
Yep.
Glad and bag.
Yep.
And now I've got mad and hand, which sort of rhyme.
There we go.
Not exactly.
And if you were to go through those two lines for me, please, Maddie.
The ones I've written?
Yeah.
I ain't angry, not feeling mad, I got your heart in my hand.
I ain't angry, not feeling mad. I got your heart in my hand. You've pretty much just changed it. You've got the same melody, yes, but you've changed the lyrics. And if you do that for a whole song, you've owned it, haven't you? Because you've made it yours. Mm-hmm. And that, for me, if you recite that 2 or 3 times after you've written it and get it, stuck, what happens is you recite something over and over again, it will stay in your head, guaranteed. Mm-hmm. And once you've got that in your head, you pretty much have written your own lyrics.
Yeah, and I could just take that now and just start putting it to a different tune.
And change the melody.
Yeah.
If you wanted to. Give it a beat.
I'm excited. I'm going to turn this into a song.
I ain't doot.
Yeah.
Yeah. And just if you've got that rhythm, you pretty much doesn't sound like the original Clint Eastwood tune anymore. Inspired by, but
it's like because the words are going to have the emphasis.
Yep.
In the same place because that's just how you talk, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like you say angry, you don't say angry.
Yeah.
So it kind of like sets you up for how the vocal is going to sound.
Absolutely, that's it. So pick a tune, write down the verse. Change if you're struggling with changing this whole story itself or of one sentence. Change the verbs and the nouns, and that would help. And you'll be surprised and amazed. You might even make yourself chuckle.
And then you've got like something to go on and start writing a vocal, which I'm going to do right now. Bye.
You're going to come back as a rapper.
Oh my God. Join us next week when I'll be talking to the amazing dancer and yogi Mike Williams.